A room with an old oak floor, wooden floor, and in the middle of the room there is a table.
Yes, and describe this table.
It is made of darker wood. It has 3 legs. At the bottom of each leg it is carved in the form of a eagle's claw holding a ball.
And it's only got 3 legs, you say?
Yes.
What is this top of it kind of shaped as?
It is a circular shape. Surface of that table is a circular shape to it, and it is draped with a purple material.
Okay. And what is this room used for? Can you have a sense of that?
On top of the table there is an hourglass. This room is a place to access memory.
What is this place that contains memory? How is that? What's the connection?
It is an ability that I've had in the past to be able to pull back memories from various lifetimes.
Okay. Is it a kind of like library or record place?
It is just a place of solitude.
Yes.
To be able to access what one could call a mind palace.
Yes, a mind palace. What does that mean?
It is a method to be able to access various information important to me.
And what information is the most important that you need to access today?
Truth.
Yes. How can you access that in this place?
Just to go back through files, memories that were meant to be accessed during this lifetime.
Yes. And are you able to access these files in this room?
It is a place where one goes when falling asleep. It is the room I go to in the dreaming.
Okay. Is it kind of like intermediary space between one space and another? Or?
Correct. It's a terminal of sorts.
Almost like a portal.
Correct.
Okay. So where would you like to go from here? If this is a portal or a terminal?
To modern day Egypt.
Very good. Okay, so be there now. And where are you? Describe what you see.
I am on the Giza Plateau.
Describe what it looks like.
It's far more intact than it is today. The Temple of Luxor is beautiful.
Okay. Can you see the Temple of Luxor from this Giza Plateau area?
It's not within the It's a distance away.
Yes, it's quite a distance away, I think.
Yes.
How is it that you can see it?
I can travel in astral form.
Okay.
I can see places beyond my physical vision with my third eye.
So do you have to close your physical eyes to be able to see it, or do you keep them all? Are they all three open at the same time?
They're not completely closed now. It's just simply shifting your vision. It's almost like a flap of a cat's eye, closing the physical eye for protection. It's almost like a film that goes over your current vision. It's almost as if being able to see the world through the perspective of a bird.
Interesting. Okay, and you're saying that this part of Egypt is more intact?
Yes, everything seems more intact, but there is devastation amongst the people.
What has happened here?
And it is the plague. There has been a plague. It is the hand of Marduk that has caused complete devastation, yeah.
The hand off?
Marduk.
What happened there?
We deserted the gods, or the gods deserted us. It was a time where the gods decided everything. They decided your fate. They decided your marriage. They decided whether you get children or not. It was a time where the gods deserted us. At the time, I was a king of a city-state in Babylon. This Babylon is in Egypt. It is not in Assyria.
How is this Babylon in Egypt?
Babylon has always been in Egypt. The names of places were changed during the Renaissance era.
Whereabouts was Babylon? Is Babylon in Egypt now?
Babylon is close to the Giza Plateau to the north and to the west.
Okay. And you're saying you're kind of like a ruler in this area?
I'm a king, a king of a city. There were 5 of us. We moved towards the Giza Plateau area as our kingdoms in the Sahara got overrun by the desert during a long period of time. The Sahara was once lush with rivers and lakes and with fertile soil. The soil became less fertile as the climate changed, and we moved further east towards the Nile Delta, carrying our people with us. We were foreign rulers during a dynasty where we were referred to as the Kasai. We were Kassite kings. But some of us survived the plague. Some of us did not perish. We were then known to be gods ourselves.
How so?
We were seen as the Sumerians blessed by the gods. We weren't originally from Egypt. We were slowly moved into Egypt from the Levant area over time because of trade routes, conflicts.
Where is the Levant area?
The Levant would form from Egypt all the way next to the eastern Mediterranean coast up to Lebanon.
Okay.
Then go east over across the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. It included the entire Fertile Crescent that would go back down into the Indus Valley and northern India. This was already the beginning of the Silk trade routes.
Yes. Okay, but you're saying then you moved kind of closer to the east, to the Giza Plateau because of plagues.
No, because of unfertile ground.
Okay, but then when you got to the Giza Plateau, there was a plague going on.
It was a time of incredible turmoil. It was also the time of the end of the Bronze Age. There was an influx of sea peoples. Sea peoples are still a mystery even today.
What do you mean sea peoples?
It's what archaeologists call them.
What is that?
The mysterious peoples that began sacking cities and burning down countrysides, causing chaos and devastation all throughout the entire Mediterranean, and they were only stopped by the Egyptians themselves, the Kassites, us. These people were an influx of various tribes from all over the place that form part of cleansing ceremonies that go back ages past. Cleansing meaning the cleansing of bloodlines, because that was still an age where Reptilian ruled the world.
What do you mean cleaning bloodlines?
What happens within each city-state? Each city-state had a patriarch. Ages before them, they were the gods themselves. The bloodlines back then were corrupted. Human bloodlines were corrupted by Reptilian. Before them, the Nephilim.
What is Rephaim and Nephilim?
Nephilim would be what was referred to as the offspring of the fallen ones and humanity before the biblical flood.
What do you mean the fallen ones?
The angels, the dark ones,
Okay.
the Atlanteans, the Aesir. There was a period of corruption of the planet even before the period I'm talking about now. The period I'm talking about now is the age of Aries, the age where the Bronze Age collapsed, the age of many migrations. During the plague in Babylon, which is on the Giza Plateau, we, the rulership of the Kassites, decided to move, to migrate, decided to move north. We were from the house of Edina, the start of Odin's migration to Scandinavia. It is not Odin like we know today. Odin is a title. It was never one single person. From Babylon, Egypt, we moved up in the area of modern-day Israel, where we married into the line of David.
Yes. So you're saying you were in Egypt, and then you moved from there to current day Israel.
Yes.
And you married into a kind of class there, or
Married into the line of David. We were the tribe of the Edina. Edina is ancient Mesopotamian for Odin.
And what language did you speak? Do you speak at that stage?
It would have been a Kassite language. Armenian.
Okay. And can you speak any of that? No.
I cannot.
Why is that?
I cannot access.
Okay, but being in that body, you look down at yourself in that body, look down at your feet, and what do you notice?
I am huge.
Mm-hmm.
Tall. Very powerful. Powerfully built. I'm Raphaim. I'm not human. Human hybrid. Human Nephilim hybrid.
Yes. What does that look like? What does your body look like?
Robust, but beautiful.
Does it look like a normal human's body?
Yes, but in comparison, just 3 times bigger. Normal humans only come up to my waist.
Okay. And how do they react to you?
In awe and fear.
And are there many that look like you or not?
The 5 kings of the Kassite look like me. And there are smaller human beings than us. Not quite human, but more human than us.
Yes.
We would be the offspring of the Asia.
You're the offspring of the Aesir.
Yes.
Okay. So does it mean like both your parents are Aesir?
It would mean that one of them was.
And the other one?
Would have been either an Asia hybrid or Asia. A type of hybrid between Asia and human.
Okay.
In the very beginning, when the corruption began, in the age of Libra, the age when Atlantis sank beneath the waves, that was when the Nephilim were introduced on the face of this earth.
Okay.
The 7,000 years of lost history before the biblical flood was dominated by tales and saga of the Nephilim. Even then, we were already a tribe. The tribe that would become part of the Irish mythology.
Okay. Kind of like about the gods.
We have always been seen as gods, even very recently, after we moved from Jerusalem, we moved to the Black Sea. We split up, some of us.
Why did you move to the Black Sea?
Because of climate. The glaciers started receding to the north. A new land was starting to be inhabited by various tribes of people that were formed from previous migrations from the Tuatha De Danann. We are the same people as the Tuatha De Danann, just a different age. After we lost the last battle in Ireland 5,000 years ago, some of us moved back down into the underworld, but some of us moved back down to Greece to be part of the Hellenic Age.
Okay, what did you do?
After the Tuatha De Danann moved underground, I moved to Greece.
What happened in Greece?
I trained some of the heroes we know today.
Some of them?
Heroes of old.
Okay, such as who?
All of them. Perseus, Heracles.
And in which way did you train them?
I trained them in the arts of healing and astrology,
What kind of healing do you do?
archery,
Oh, and archery, yes.
weapons, strategy, warfare, music, poetry, art. In the Hellenic Age, I would have been known as Chiron.
Chiron. And do you live longer than normal people?
Yes,
How long do you live?
we have rejuvenation chambers in the underworld. We can choose to rejuvenate the current body.
Okay. What do you mean the underworld? How do you access that?
There are chasms in the underworld, lying within the crust of the earth that is inhabited by various civilizations. The underworld is also known as Shambhala or Hades.
Mm-hmm.
Various factions of the Anunnaki families have been living and governing from the underworld for eons.
Why do they govern from the underworld and not the overworld?
Our reality consists of three different worlds: the heavens, earth, and the underworld. The earth carries the expression of itself in the life forms, which we call now humanity, like feeders of an octopus. All of us are just like the hairs on the back of a being, or part of a macrocosmic being, which we call Earth. And then the underworld is where the dynamics are different than on the surface of the earth. There, the underworld, the beings are not influenced by the magnosphere, magnetic, electromagnetic impulses that flow around the planet and influence human beings. They are not influenced by the age. Consciousness does not devolve like it does with humanity. As soon as you are on the surface of the planet, you are susceptible to the dynamics of the age and the energy.
Yeah, so you agree to the kind of laws.
You agree to have the same terms and conditions as humanity, even as a more divine, for the lack of a better word, being.
Okay. And you're saying in this kind of Greek life that you're able to go into the underworld and kind of recharge or cleanse yourself.
Correct. There is a physical body in the underworld. This is not the only body. Body in the underworld goes into stasis as a human experience is being had. So during the Babylonian time in Egypt, I would have had an ACO body in the underworld inhabiting a body that has the same frequency as I. You cannot inhabit just anybody, which is why we have these cleansings of bloodlines, as various bloodlines dominate across the Middle East for control of a portal.
What portals then?
The earth consists of many portals in the shape, if you can imagine the earth being a dodecahedron. 20 sides, each one represents a portal, of which there are 12 main portals.
And you're saying, is one of those then in the Middle East?
Always has been.
Where in the Middle East?
Within the mountains of the Caucasus.
Okay. And
below.
So can anyone kind of access that portal and travel, or how does it work?
Only 7 are accessible.
7 on the planet right now?
Yes, representing the chakras of the planet.
Which ones are these that are accessible today?
For incarnation, you can only access the root. The root, which is somewhere in the Middle East.
What do you mean for incarnation?
For incarnation from the underworld.
Okay.
They can only incarnate through the Middle East, the portal from the Middle East, the one that has been fought over for millennia, the one that has been protected by the Lemurians.
Why is that?
Because as soon as the Atlanteans gain control, they get to choose which souls incarnate and from where.
But do souls not incarnate from source? Why do souls need to come through that portal, or is it just the souls that are in the underworld?
The story goes back even much further, to 70,000 years ago, during the time of the transmigration of souls from Mars. So, the underworld management are in charge of rehabilitating the souls from Mars, not only Mars, but also Maldek. Source and earthly souls are not necessarily under the supervision of these underworld beings. The Aesir only look after their own, and those that have been responsible for creating during the corruption of the planet. It was not only Nephilim, but various sorts of beings were created of various forms, combining already existing creatures, creating monstrosities. The corruption of the earth went far further than just corrupting humanity.
Okay, so you're saying that these souls from Mars and Maldek then came to Earth, but they had to come through this portal.
Correct. It's more complicated than that. So much context needs to be given, of which we do not have time for today.
Okay, so where would you like to go today? We were still in Greece.
No. From Babylonian Egypt, we went up to Jerusalem, married into the Solomon Davidic bloodline, which really paved way for the Christ event.
Why did that pave way for the Christ event?
It was through the bloodline of the Kassites and the bloodline of Solomon that the bloodline of Sheshua ben Joseph was created. It is the combination of two ancient bloodlines. We did not stay in Jerusalem. We split up. Some of us moved west. Some of us moved over the Caucasus to the east side of the Black Sea, around and across, up the Danube, into Scandinavia, where we settled. It was through the generations after settling in Scandinavia that the mythology of the Germanic-speaking and Celtic people were formed. The legends of Odin and his family were created through the memories of these generations, blowing the stories completely out of proportion. Odin was never one being. Odin is a title giving to the royal lineage that was formed from the Kassites, the foreign rulers of Egypt. From Scandinavia, they went back down into Europe, forming the European royal lineage we know today. The royal families of Europe, they are obviously descendants of the line of Jesus, which is why they claim their right to rule through their lineage that goes back all the way to the Nephilim.
And you're saying, but there's a kind of Aesir influence as well, Nephilim, Aesir.
Yes.
So all the kind of royal bloodlines have that in them, current day.
All connected. History repeats itself over and over and over, ever since Atlantis sank. these migrations from Egypt all the way to the Black Sea, up into Ireland, and spreading towards other parts of the world is a reoccurrence. The Tuatha De Danann did it. The Odinic families did it. And even after that, the Crusades formed the same pattern all the way back down from the UK to Jerusalem and back. Every time, each attempt to navigate the same migration formed the reason for them to return each time. There were treasures, artifacts, and enchanted weapons that were of great value and importance to most families that wanted a claim to rule. Each time after a dynasty ended, many of these artifacts, enchanted weapons, would be hidden. And it was through these mind palaces that we can locate them again.
Through these what?
Mind palace, these rooms of meditation, these places of solitude. It's not only a mental construct, but often a physical one in the shape of ancient temples. Temples that hold knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge that can only be accessed by certain bloodlines. Each family would have had one.
Is that why Bert can access this information?
Yes, I am a Kassite king that was once part of the Tuatha De Danann, ages past. That was once part of Atlantis. But it is not a story that
A story that
started from love.
started from?
Love. It started long ago when the journey of the soul became corrupted in Atlantis. There was no more love or yearning for love and unity. There was only a yearning for power.
Mm-hmm. So this Kassite king was in Atlantis at one stage, and that was the kind of origin, and it was,
Yes.
but it was kind of not a start in love. It's more power, kind of story of power.
Yes.
Do you like to talk about that?
During the time of Atlantis, I would have been one of the sons of Odin, or the Odinic line, which formed back then. It was another name, a name I cannot access, name that was lost to time, erased even. It was my family, my Anunnaki family, that was responsible for the corruption of the earth in the age of Libra. Back then, it was my family's impulse to take over Atlantean colonies off Atlantis. We were filled with ambition, greed, pride, and we veered off the path. The veered off the path that was shown to us by the wisdom keepers of Lemuria. We started following another path, a left-handed path, where we started following dark beings. We became known as the Dark Lords of Belial.
And this is during the Atlantean times.
Yes.
And how did you contribute to the downfall? You know, what happened?
Yes.
How did that happen?
During the Atlantean times, I would have been a watcher for my people. A watcher of royal bloodline, a son of Talos, one of the Atlantean kings, ruler of one of the islands. During that time, the island was located in modern-day Sahara. It was part of Africa. It was not in the Atlantic Sea. It was part of Kim.
What is Kim?
Kim is the old name for Egypt.
And you're saying it was a kind of like an island at that stage, or still a continent? Or?
The Sahara was divided into islands,
okay,
separated by large rivers. There was a river that ran from west to east, and from north to south. There was one that you entered from close to where Carthage used to be. From Scandinavia, the Anunnaki bloodline split into what we would know today as the Visigoths and the Ostrogoths. Goth is the ancient word, Scandinavian word for God, the blessed ones. And from there, we would have married into the Frankish bloodlines, of which the first was the Merovingian dynasty.
The what dynasty?
Merovingian.
Where's that?
Frankish, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, parts of France. Many Germanic tribes started filling up the area since the fall of Rome.
Why was it important to kind of move around this much?
To spread the bloodline.
Why is that important?
So that our ancestors could incarnate into our bloodline. Even today, the incarnation of an ancestor, which is the whole point of conquering.
So you're saying an Anunnaki being can only incarnate into its own bloodline on Earth?
Correct.
And what are the other bloodlines? Is it just kind of Homo sapien or human, or what else exists?
different Anunnaki bloodlines. The one I am part of would be the R1B bloodline.
R1B.
Yes, it is a bloodline that was formed during the migration of the Tuatha De Danann.
Is that kind of AB negative, or what is that bloodline?
O negative.
Okay. So there's different kind of Anunnaki kind of bloodlines.
Correct.
And your ancestry can only incarnate into the one that you're speaking of, R1B.
Correct.
They can't incarnate into another Anunnaki bloodline.
I cannot incarnate into other Anunnaki bloodlines.
Okay. And it's all people that have O negative part of that bloodline, or how does that work?
Correct.
Okay. And the people that are O positive, for example, what are they?
They would form part of the natural line of humanity.
Okay. Now what's the
RH negative bloodlines are the royal bloodlines of the Anunnaki.
Okay.
There would have been 33 of them.
Why 33?
There were different kinds of mutations that occurred during the age of the Nephilim.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying it's important to move around this kind of migration to spread this bloodline so that ancestry can reincarnate or incarnate. But why is it important to be on Earth for, your beings in the first place?
The Anunnaki families were invited to this plane to descend into the third density. The reverse of what humanity is trying to do is to ascend. Humanity would never have been able to ascend on its natural timeline.
Okay, so there was a necessity to mix.
Correct.
But was there? Sorry, go ahead.
The evolution of humanity was very slow. They would have still been hunter-foragers even today had the Anunnaki not intervened.
But were there other race or kind of extraterrestrial beings that also intervened?
There were many other races that intervened. The first intervention happened 65 million years ago.
Was it from the Anunnaki?
No. It was from time-traveling beings that originated from, but it was to correct a timeline. 65 million years ago, this planet was a reptilian planet. The asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs set in motion a new evolutionary chain, giving rise to us.
Okay. And you're saying the Anunnaki were invited yet? By who?
200,000 years ago, by the Pleiadians themselves, the Arcturians.
Why were they invited by them?
To speed up the evolution.
Why is it necessary for evolution to happen in the first place?
For souls to be able to ascend into higher frequencies of consciousness.
What's wrong with being kind of a hunter-gatherer forever? Is it just there's not enough expansion, or what?
There's not enough adversity. There is not enough opportunities to learn. There is not enough friction. There is love and unity. There's only very small expression of duality.
Mm. So there's more duality, there's more opportunity for learning and growth.
Correct. And more opportunities to also be of service of the whole purpose of this incarnation is to be able to balance both light and dark and to master both the ego and the shadow.
How can that be done? We were talking earlier about, integration, not, suppressing one and exaggerating the other. It's more unification of both. How can that happen?
It's virtually impossible. But in the dark, the higher self has hidden certain treasures that can only be accessed from an activated heart chakra. You cannot activate secrets that is not meant to be accessed by incarnations that are on negative polarity. It would not be fair.
Okay, and why is it important for this information about the, kind of migrating Anunnaki to come through today?
It's really to bring to light the influence of the Anunnaki on us even today. The Anunnaki are interdimensional beings who still have influence on us even from the astral realms.
How do they have how do they have influence on us?
They have thought forms that enter our consciousness. Thought forms that can attach itself unto us etherically. There are many beings, human beings walking around today with etheric attachments.
Why do these things attach?
It's either to suppress certain impulses or to elevate them.
You're saying this is kind of Anunnaki attachment?
The word Anunnaki should be taken out of the context. You, as an interdimensional being, are able to manipulate the physical world through thought forms that attach itself to human beings etherically onto their magnetic field, if I can, for the lack of a better word. You can access past lives through the imprints of your etheric field, and your higher self leaves clues via imprints on your etheric field.
What does that have to do with the attachments?
Attachments could be anything from a map or even a living thought form manipulating the individual, steering the individual towards down a certain path. This is why illusion, the illusion of free will is an illusion, or can be. Sometimes the individual completely gets possessed by its own ego, veering off the path it came here to do in the first place, the reason it came here to do in the first place. Your higher self loses control, has less control over the individual having the incarnation. It can be adjusted through etheric attachments, thought forms. This information is still very much vague.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, these kind of attachments?
It's often used for negative agendas. That is how our leaders of today are seemingly losing the plot.
So they kind of have these attachments.
Correct.
But how can one not be a match to these attachments?
You must gain control of your own chakras, your own energy centers. Learn to cleanse them regularly, to have not only physical hygiene, mental hygiene, but also spiritual hygiene.
What does spiritual hygiene look like?
Grounding.
For me, it's kind of Epsom salt bath as well.
Various minerals, baths, grounding, lots of crystals.
Mm-hmm. So should one do that daily, almost like a daily activity?
Depending on how unbalanced the person is, one might have to take extreme measures to first gain some sort of energetic equilibrium within all the energy centers. And then it only needs a little bit of maintenance day by day to maintain the frequency of being in harmony.
Anything else people can do for spiritual hygiene?
I think the most important thing today for spiritual hygiene is just spending as much time in the present as possible.
In the present?
Present.
But how does one actually do that? Because most of the time we're thinking about the past, we're thinking about the future. We're in fight, flight, freeze, fawn majority of the day.
Those thoughts are from the ego.
But it doesn't change the reality because that's how most people still feel.
The ego is important. It's how we survive this realm, this reality. But the ego is also where we get manipulated, corrupted, and where the thought forms that attaches themselves to us manifests from through the ego.
So how can one kind of balance the ego and the higher self then?
Is to realize that we are not our ego. We have an ego. The ego is but a tool. You have to learn the ability to observe thoughts. Those thoughts are your ego's thoughts, they are not yours. The nature of your thoughts will give you an idea of the frequency you are currently vibrating at. If your thoughts are of a negative nature, and your dreams are often negative, and emotions of anxiety and fear start bottling up, you are most likely being manipulated by a thought form attached to your etheric field.
But I mean, you became a vibrational match to that in the first place, right?
At some
coming from the
point, your
core.
consciousness will rise above all that. It will take a lot of work to be able to get there. Many of the yogis of today, spiritual leaders, are far beyond ego, far beyond operating from a place of thought. They operate from thinking with a heart and feeling with a mind. Complete mind-heart coherence. Thoughts can be a bad thing.
Okay. Anything else about these scenes that were shown earlier? These places?
The bloodline of the Edina family during the age of Aries is a great example of how these thought forms manifest into overblown shadows, taking complete control over human beings. How people suddenly become gods, how they become bigger than themselves, bigger than the world, how they fall off the path. It is really just a message that even the best of us can fall so far off the path that it is just another reminder of how important spiritual hygiene is, to always be able to be in a state of consciousness that is above, that operates from above the bottom energy centers, because only then will you have perspective and notice when thought forms are coming. You will usually be alarmed or notified either by your higher self, your angels, your guardians, your guides, through various high-pitched ringing in the ears. Usually the right ear will signify a etheric attack. When you have high ringing in the left ear, it's usually your guides telling you you're either on the correct path or on the correct train of thought. Go down further that train of thought. And ringing in the ears will usually be synchronous with other synchronicities like time, numbers, manifesting itself in the clock, or like consecutive numbers, 333 or 444.
Okay, anything else about that?
The same family, Anunnaki family line, has been involved in the corruption of the planet.
Is it that same R1B line?
Yes, but it is important to say that is only a small part of the entire Anunnaki structure.
And they're kind of part of the corruption at the moment.
Even today.
Why is it important to...
But it's important to state that the majority of the Anunnaki beings are benevolent towards humanity.
Oh, benevolent.
Yes, the others would have gone down to South America to form the Mesoamerican civilizations.
And how are the ones corrupting the earth now the ones that are, more malevolent?
The red shields are the corruptors. The ones that still have the Martian impulse are the ones that are currently against humanity. They are the ones that would be pushing for centralizing everything, fundamentalizing everything, and bringing back imperialism across the entire planet like it once was before the fall of Atlantis.
Is that what's happening now?
It's like I said before, history repeats.
Yes. But are the ones that are ruling the roost now, are they not kind of reptilian? Where does the Anunnaki come in?
This whole reptilian agenda story is really just more bullshit, more disinformation and misinformation.
How so?
The Anunnaki are the same as the Naga, are the same as the Nakash. They are beings that do have reptilian features, but are not 100% reptilian. The Anunnaki are from the planet that was destroyed eons ago, called Maldek. Maldek was inhabited by dark Orions, dark Syrians, dark Draco, and various other dark factions who fought over the control and minerals of the planet. They engaged in warfare as we do today. At some point, during times of peace, and there were times of peace, as the cycles of the yugas are applicable to the entire solar system, they started interbreeding. Syrian, Orion, Draco hybrids formed. The planet got destroyed when these hybrids were what was left of it. With the transmigration of souls from Maldek to Mars, those souls continued their journey from where they left off, took over the inhabitants of the Martian planet, much like it was done here on this planet, and decimated yet another planet. So the Anunnaki were invited here. There was a soul migration, transmigration of souls to this planet, now consisting of souls from all across the galaxy, but mostly from Mars and Maldek, to continue their third density journey, of which the Anunnaki succeeded, descended into third dimension.
To descend, yes. But you're saying some of these transmigrated souls were the kind of Draco factions.
Correct.
Okay. And is that how the kind of the current day story of the reptilians, is that where that comes in?
That's where your Naga beings would come from.
What do you mean Naga?
In India, the Naga are revered. It forms a part of their entire Hindu culture. Even the god Shiva has a Naga around his neck, in the form of a cobra. The Nagas are hooded serpents. They represent energy of the universe. Energy flows like a snake, like a serpent. They are just interdimensional beings who have mastered energy.
Okay.
Manipulating energy. So some of them, in the various stages of their evolution, would have had some reptilian features, but they are not reptilians.
Okay, so who exactly is ruling humanity right now? You know, the ones with all the kind of controllers. Who are they?
The controllers would be on top of the very top of the pyramid, would be the Elohim. Elohim in turn would have fifth dimensional beings like the Syrians, Dracos, various factions. Others, I am referring to only the negative Anunnaki, my bloodline.
Okay. And the negative Anunnaki are up there.
The negative bloodlines of Anunnaki come from Nibiru. They are other beings that come from the same places that are not negative, that form other royal bloodlines of Anunnaki. Some of them are more associated with the Pleiades than the Draco.
Okay. And then who's below that group?
There would be various beings or angelics, fourth density beings, who would be or beings with fourth density consciousness, would in turn be the henchmen of these Anunnaki beings. The Anunnaki beings are the angelics. They will not get their hands dirty. They would have minions to do it for them, the negative Anunnakis. The positive ones would have a divine connection to the angelic realms and would be working in association with not only archangels but the angelics that would form part of the spheres of Venus and Mercury. That's where the positive Anunnakis come from. Mars and Maldek is the negative polarity.
Okay. And that's where you're from?
Yes.
Okay, and who's underneath the angelics then, in this triangle?
Would be the Illuminati.
Okay.
The Illuminati is a group of gentlemen that formed a secret society in the 1776. Which is well documented.
And underneath the Illuminati? Would that be us? Us all?
That would be the various government leaders across the globe. Governments are all in cahoots are all ruled by fourth density beings who have attached etheric thought forms onto most of them.
Mm.
But a word of warning to anyone listening to this. It does sound an awful lot like a lot of the shit on YouTube and various social platforms. Use discretion with everything you listen to. Every word anyone says, even these words that you are listening to now. If they do not resonate with you, then they are not truthful. You can disregard them. The New Age and the social media is currently the platform where the dark ones are busy thriving. The merchants of fear are all over social media. If you are gathering information that makes you feel fearful, it is certainly the merchants of fear trying to direct us towards the timeline of their agenda. The light has already won. I am testament to that.
How are you testament to that?
This incarnation was started in a negative polarity. There was a divine intervention during my awakening. My awakening was not through the heart chakra. Was not meant to be through the heart chakra. I gained Christ consciousness during my awakening. It was never this incarnation's life plan. It was never the life plan.
Okay.
To become pro-humanity.
Okay. So then there is hope then for the ones who are of the dark, or?
Very much so.
Okay. But why do you, okay, so then you're saying that the light has won or can win because...
The light has already won. It's just time taking its toll. Time taking time to pass for the events to happen. Right now, we're in a very, very important time in humanity's evolution. Very soon, within our lifetime, there will be an event where humanity could potentially split.
What do you mean split?
Literally split.
Are you talking about that kind of 3D, 5D?
No.
What do you mean?
No. The fear merchants will soon gain a sniff of this. Soon you'll start hearing about the asteroid Apophis. Apophis being the Egyptian god of death. Apophis, it will cross between the moon and earth in 4 years from now.
This is a kind of asteroid?
Yes.
And
yes.
Then what will happen?
Nothing. But what will happen is that it will penetrate Earth's electromagnetosphere.
Okay. What will that do?
It will have an effect on humanity's consciousness.
How will that create a split?
It will not create a split yet, but it will set in motion events that will create the split. The split is going to happen no matter what.
What will that do to humanity's consciousness, that being in the, field of the earth?
It will affect the veil. More that was hidden will come to light. More that was and the shadows will come to light.
Like a reveal.
A reveal.
Okay. And then you're saying that why will that create a split?
Because the truth will be more prevalent.
Okay. And then people will have to choose, and then they would be kind of conflicted, I suppose, which would create a split.
There will certainly be conflict. Conflicts, kinetic conflict, because of the usual agendas currently happening. But conflict in all dimensions, in all aspects of life, even our psyche, where we are in control of our timeline, because 30 years from now, our prophet comes back. By then, we would have had to make our decision.
Our decision as in like the higher or the lower timeline?
Decision of our timeline.
Okay.
The higher timeline. Or the lower timeline. A prophet already comes around a third time and could potentially make impact once more. This impact is not big enough to destroy a planet, as a prophet is not a big enough asteroid, and it's not traveling at the speed fast enough to create a complete extinction level event. But out of the ashes of this impact, a new humanity will rise.
Okay.
And it is this humanity that will start moving off into the galaxy. By then, we would have either already been acquainted with our galactic family, or we would have perished.
Okay. Why is it important for people to know about this asteroid?
Creating awareness about this asteroid is to hopefully help curb the level of fear the fear merchants will be able to accumulate. Because it's only through fear that we create or uncreate a reality. If you are able to manipulate the subconscious of humanity, you can manipulate the timeline. So by feeding humanity a lot of poison and fear of this impact that will destroy us, it will just create a mentality of finality, of the end. It will create more chaos. Human beings will not be limited by laws anymore. If it's your last few moments on Earth, you will likely be doing what the shadow wants you to do if your shadow is being fed fear.
Yes. Okay, so it's important for people to know that this will not create destruction, total destruction.
No.
So they shouldn't buy into the fear mongering.
Absolutely not. Humanity goes on. We then become either a poison or a type of medicine for the galaxy. Because no matter how we look at it, our impact on this galaxy will be significant.
Okay.
That is why there are so many ascended masters here right now. So many light workers. And that is why there are so many good things happening on this planet right now.
What good things are happening now?
The dark are starting to. Some of the dark ones are starting to turn their polarity.
Yes.
Like the Vatican will make the library public.
Why would they do that?
They are tired of the bad rap.
They have the worst rap.
Yes. There will be a great attempt for the Western religions to start working through their own shadows.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of our session now, but Bert wanted to know if he could speak with his shadow. Would this be permitted today?
Yes.
Okay, so just as a definition, the shadow is just the suppressed, denied, disowned aspects of the self that are kind of not within sight. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so he wanted to know how could he better work with his shadow, kind of walk hand in hand.
Do not like.
Come again?
Don't think I like the spotlight.
What is that?
Not no place to hide.
Yes, but we can still hide. But we can still talk, can't we?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay, so Bert wanted to know how he could connect with you better, how to work hand in hand with you.
You will have to go back to the past. Keep shedding light on the past, because only in the past will you know how I came to be.
Okay. And which shadow are we speaking with now?
Shadow of Atlantis.
Okay. So that's not even from this life.
The shadow of Atlantis has been following every lifetime for eons.
Okay. And what exactly happened there that was, banished into the shadow with him?
I was born out of love. Born out of lust. Neglected by both parents, but given tremendous responsibility. One shadow will have the attributes of your opposing star sign.
Okay. What is his opposing star sign?
Opposing star sign of Libra is Aries.
Okay. So his shadow has those attributes.
Dark Aries.
Out of alignment Aries. I know a few of them actually.
Very dark. My shadow. If I'm going unchecked, my shadow increases.
Yes. Okay, so this shadow came from Atlantis, where it was born out of kind of not really. There wasn't much support from the parents, but there was a lot of responsibility.
Atlantis was already a civilization in exile. It was came into being because of the rebellion of an Elohim. An Elohim who walked away from God coincides with the fall of Lucifer. Lucifer is really an angelic being who was once also part of the evolution of the Anunnaki. Shadow got inflated by one of these beings.
Okay.
And in turn, completely changed my polarity, making going against everything I stood for.
Okay. So you're kind of corrupted by your shadow then.
Yes, complete corruption, which led to the Watchers creating the Nephilim. It was a decision of the higher self. It was a corruption and inflation of the shadow.
What did the Nephilim then do to that shadow?
The Nephilim are simply a fractal of the Creator, their Creator, the Elohim. They are just beings of darkness, created from fear.
Okay. And what does this have to do with first life now? This shadow from Atlantis.
She had to close the karmic wheel of Atlantis.
Okay. How can that be done?
To help heal the wound of Atlantis. It can be done through cleansing ancient sites.
Okay. As in like going there.
Physically going there.
And how does one cleanse it then?
Removing the energies that is placed there by the dark ones.
Okay. Where should birds specifically go?
Number one place to go is the Luxor Temple in Egypt.
Why there specifically?
The Luxor Temple is an initiation temple.
Yes.
For the human body and its energy centers.
Yeah. How should he cleanse it then?
He has to simply walk through it.
Okay, to cleanse his own chakra system.
Correct.
Okay. Well, the Luxor complex is so beautiful. Pretty sure he would enjoy it.
Very much so.
Okay. Anything else he can do to kind of, integrate the shadow? Or this karmic?
Not much shadow integration is not entirely needed.
Okay. Or what else is needed to, just become more friendly with the shadow?
He's already doing what he's supposed to be doing. He is to become my brother, my friend, shoulder to listen to.
Yes. He says he feels your presence when he's alone.
Yes, we are the same size. This light is growing. I fear that I will cease to exist. I want to exist. I want to live.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't saying anything about eradication. He just wanted to know how can he unlock the gems within the shadow.
I will show him. I will show him. He will become who he once was.
Is that before the downfall in Atlantis?
Yes.
Okay.
He will become the son of Atlantis once more. He will become the healer he's made to be.
He'll become a healer.
Yes.
In which sense?
He will become enlightened once more.
He will become?
Enlightened.
Enlightened. Okay.
He will ascend.
Okay. Is that in this lifetime?
Yes.
Okay, so he will kind of reach that place he's been looking for.
Yes.
Okay, any other messages you'd like to give him today?
I love you too. That is all.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for speaking with us today. Any other messages for anyone else? Oh, we're complete today.
We are done.
Thank you.